So our final speaker is Charlie from Protect the Wild.
It's very hard to know how to follow all that. I won't be singing. Those who know me will be very pleased to hear. I came here in June, and I was here in 2023 when I talked a lot about hen harriers. And people have said to me, why have you come all the way up from Wiltshire to stand here with people on a grouse moor? And it's pretty simple really. A, I believe in the cause, and B, I am really passionate about red grouse. And that's really what I wanted to talk about, because I think sometimes we forget that at the heart of all of this are birds. And red grouse, of course, are birds. And they are very, very special birds, found in very, very few places. I can't see them in Wiltshire. The Birds of Wiltshire, I have the book, says there are 5 records of red grouse in Wiltshire. And the early authors thought they'd been blown over from the Welsh marches. Now, I don't know, it's quite ironic coming here to see red grouse when in the last 3 times I haven't seen a single one. That's moorland management for you. But there's no chance a red grouse could be blown off these hills and blown across England into Wiltshire. It was obviously put there by people hoping to introduce them for shooting, so they didn't have to make the trek all the way up here. They could just kill them in Salisbury Plain and places like that. But they're very, very hard to see and very, very limited. And they got actually more limited last year when a taxonomic decision was made on plumage. I won't go into too much of it because it's probably a bit too nerdy really, but they were considered part of a group that included the willow ptarmigan, which is found across Europe. So red grouse was part of the willow ptarmigan family. Then last year, taxonomists got together and agreed that in fact red grouse is a separate species. British Birds magazine realised that when they chose red grouse as their logo in 1907, but it's taken until last year to get them reinstated. So Lagopus scotica. This is the only place in the entire world that you can see red grouse, is in the UK. Nowhere else in the world. You can go to Europe and see willow ptarmigan. You can go other places and see other species of grouse. But if you want to see red grouse, you have to come to the UK or live in Sheffield and come up on the hills and find one. And in 2 days' time, one of Britain's only 2 endemic bird species, and the other is Scottish crossbill, Loxia scotica. And I'm not a taxonomist, but I don't think that's going to stay a species for very long. But in 2 days' time, people will be queuing up, standing in those goddamn butts up, and well, maybe not up on here because there are no red grouse, but on other grouse moors, shooting one of Britain's only endemic bird species, which is quite an incredible thing when you think about it. The trouble is we don't think about it. It's been so normalised. Killing has been so utterly normalised in this country. And I don't blame us, I don't blame conservation, I don't blame many people. I do blame the shooting industry. It has been very, very deliberate. They've had 200 years of this. Maggie was right, grouse shooting, driven grouse shooting, was introduced by the Victorians. Albert particularly, when he came over from Germany, he married Victoria, he brought the concept of driven grouse shooting to the country. The wealthy landowners leapt on it, and we've been doing it ever since. And because it's landowners and they're in the House of Lords and they're really quite wealthy and we're supposed to be very respectful, we haven't really thought about what is going on. The shooting industry has somehow managed to other certain birds, separate them away, and they call them game birds. There is no reason on earth why a grouse, a pheasant, a partridge, a woodcock, a snipe, any of these birds should be ring-fenced and called game birds. There isn't a reason, but they have managed to do it. And we, to some extent, all of us have gone along with it. And it's not surprising. The shooting industry is incredibly influential. They've had a very long time to do this. And just to give you an example about how well they've achieved this, Maggie touched on the ban grouse shooting debate, which was in a response to a wild justice petition in Parliament recently. I don't know if anybody watched it. Did anybody sit through it? Yeah. It was appalling. It was really, really horrible. It was a queue of Tory politicians getting up, reading from Basque briefing sheets, that's the British Association of Shooting and Conservation, and all they talked about were jobs, conservation apparently. No one, until Olivia Blake, God bless her, stood up. No one talked about the fact or raised the question of should we actually be shooting red grouse at all. That didn't even come into the conversation. It was all about pity the poor gamekeeper who's going to lose his job. Now, listen, yeah, I don't want people to lose jobs, but I'm old enough, you can tell by looking at me, that I remember the 70s and 80s, and I do not remember northern Tory politicians lining up to say we can't destroy the coal mines, the steelworks, the shipbuilding, because it will destroy communities. That's what they're trying to do here, because all they want to do is carry on killing red grouse. And we've got to bring this into our conversations, in my opinion, far more. We're very good, we have been very good at taking out certain elements of what grouse shooting does wrong, raptor persecution in particular. Yes, raptor persecution is a terrible, terrible thing. It is a wildlife crime. People are getting away with it. It needs to be stopped. Burning, smoke, that is another terrible, terrible thing. It should not be happening. Land ownership. If you haven't read Guy Shrubsole's The Lie of the Land, buy it. It's magnificent. It will make you so angry, as you can tell. It is really good. We have concentrated on these things, and it's really important that we have, but we have somehow forgotten along the way that one of Britain's only 2 endemic bird species are going to be shot out of the air, anywhere between 200,000 and 300,000, depending on how the seasons have gone. And I just, I wrote this down because I didn't want to get this wrong. I love the RSPB. The country's bird life would be in a terrible place without the RSPB. Their reserves are generally fairly small, but they are so important. The staff love birds, there's no doubt about it. The RSPB did a response to the grouse shooting petition, and I just want to read a paragraph because I really wanted to get this right. The RSPB is neutral on the ethics of shooting. I don't know if you knew that. That's in their Royal Charter, 1904. That was put together to get that royal signature on it. They had to be neutral on the ethics of shooting. I mean, that was 1904. I think if you said now in 1925, any bird organisation, any charity, any group at all would be neutral on the ethics of killing birds for fun, it's nonsensical. But they went on to say, the RSPB is neutral on the ethics of shooting and concerned only with preventing the harm caused to wildlife through the management of some grouse shoots. Now, to me, that's an incredible statement. They are saying harm, physical injury, preventing the harm caused to wildlife through the management of some grouse shoots. They didn't mean red grouse. They meant everything else. That idea of othering, that idea of game birds being taken out of the sort of the realm of what is wildlife. These birds are wild birds. These are wildlife. This is something we should be incredibly proud of. And yet we have, you know, I don't want to bash the RSPB. A lot of conservation organisations that do this. They somehow don't see red grouse as wildlife. They went on to say, this is while we support efforts that bring this important issue into the spotlight, our focus has long been on achieving a system of licensing for grouse shooting. We believe this, rather than an outright ban, is the most pragmatic way to secure a positive outcome for nature. I mean, how does that achieve a positive outcome for red grouse? Are red grouse not nature? Of course they are nature. And what licensing will do, and again, I don't want to be seen to be standing here as an organisational representative, which is why I'm not wearing the t-shirt bashing the RSPB, because I understand kind of why they're doing it. But licensing, if you come across this phrase and are asked to support licensing, licensing is this. Licensing says this is okay. It is okay to kill 200, 300,000 red grouse. We're going to give you a license for that. It is okay to put out traps and snares and kill foxes, stoats, weasels. They don't kill birds of prey legally, but they're still doing it, so they're not going to license that. It is okay to do the burning. It's okay to do the drying out that Butch spoke so well about. That is what licensing is. It is telling you, that is saying to the grouse moor owners, it is okay to do this. And personally, I just think that is completely wrong. Completely and utterly wrong. Your movement, the Reclaim Our Moors, I'm Wiltshire based, like I said. I can't claim to be a big part of this particular movement. I hope there's some sort of feeling that I'm welcome when I come up. But this has to be your movement. You cannot accept licensing. You cannot accept the smoke. You want the land back. And at the same time, please, can I just make a plea for all of us to remember at the centre of this storm is a bird that is found nowhere else in the world but here in the British Isles, and that is the red grouse. Thank you.